This is Media Philosophy, exploring the deeper side of Fire Emblem Three Houses, the greatest Switch game ever, hands down. Honestly, if I was stuck on a desert island and not only forced just to pick a single Nintendo Switch game, but just a single video game in general, I without question, I would be picking Fire Emblem Three Houses. I've played this game for hundreds of hours, and it just does not get boring. And honestly, I don't even pay attention to the plot. I couldn't even tell you what the plot is. Hell, I can barely tell you even what the characters' names are, okay? So I don't want anybody flaming me in the comments, but it's true. I know, like, Leone, I know Hilda. I gotta give it up to my girl, Bernadette. And then, I don't even want to try to butcher, unless I'm like 100% certain of the character's name, I don't even want to try to say their names because I don't want to offend anybody watching out there. But even if I do offend somebody out there, I'm just honored that you're even watching, so thank you. But honestly, Fire Emblem Three Houses, it's just got the balance of everything I'm looking for in a game. It's got, the whole Professor Sim relaxation aspect of it. You got the tea parties, little dating sim aspect of it. If you want to be cute, try to get to know these characters. Oh, and I mean, I guess if you really want to play a dating sim with Fire Emblem Three Houses, you have that opportunity more or less. Again, I don't get too much into that side of the game. Of course, I'll try to raise their supports by having, the students talk to each other. But hey, that's just another avenue for me to just delve even deeper in. 1,000 hours later, I can start delving into maybe the actual story of it. But yeah, it's got just the school atmosphere, beautiful soundtrack. I love nothing more than just loading up a game, loading up a battle, and just listening to that awesome soundtrack while you're setting up your soldiers and whatnot for like those common battles. It's just wonderful. And then, yeah, the actual battles is just so satisfying. I have tried to even play other tactics games. Like, I've gone to, like, Steam during, like, some of the other, like, RPG sales or the turn-based sales. And I've even played or had games like Ogre Tactics, Ogre Reborn, whatever. In my cart, I bought it, loaded it up, started playing it, played it for maybe like 15 minutes, and then I was like, what am I doing? Why am I even trying to take the time to learn another game when Fire Emblem Three Houses is right there, when I can just load it up on my Switch and just be eternally happy? That's truly how I feel, because it just seems so gratifying to play that game, to actually fight those battles. The characters are all so unique in themselves, and you feel just so powerful, wiping away entire armies just with your students. And whether you want to play casually or hardcore, you have options for yourself, even different difficulties. So it's like there's tons of different ways you can shake it up. For example, like I'm playing one right now, just New Game Plus Maddening difficulty, but simple, whatever it's called, the easy one where they don't die. I can't have it. I can't have students dying on me. It just breaks my heart at the end of the game, where instead of a cute little epilogue for the student, you see just an obituary, I guess, more or less it is. I can't handle it. And I don't even think it's possible to beat Three Houses on Maddening without losing a student. I would love to see somebody do that. Well, no, I wouldn't, because I'm not going to watch that, because that would be probably a long time. But I would just like to know the mechanics behind how someone would go from like a new game, not New Game Plus, but new game in Three Houses, and try to go through Maddening without losing a single student on classic mode. I don't think it can be done. I don't think that is possible. And what a fun mechanic to have in a game that really just makes it seem like your choices matter. Because I guess you could do those self-restricted runs and things like Pokemon, like the Nuzlocke Challenge and whatnot. But it's really cool to have like a game punish players if they want to. I'm actually not that big into the other Fire Emblem games. Honestly, I'll just rephrase that. I have not played any other Fire Emblem game other than Three Houses, and that's how confidently I can say that Three Houses is the greatest video game, one of the greatest video games of all time. I'll give myself some wiggle room here, but it really is one of the greatest games of all time. And I feel like no one's really talked about other Fire Emblem games to this level as Three Houses, or at least recently, of course. I mean, like Engage came out, and I just feel like nobody really gave that game the time of day compared to what Three Houses had to offer. And I guess it really just makes sense when you think about it. You know, how do you follow up something so perfect? Oh yeah, that's what I was saying before, just how fun those battles are, and just clearing all those enemies, and just different ways that you can approach the battles. There's nothing I love more than trying to turn my students who are not meant to be that class into that class. I think it's just so much fun to have like Bernadette be some sort of heavy armored like cavalrist or something, or I wish I knew all their names, but like I said, I don't know their names, so to have like concrete examples. But it's just so much fun to just give any character any weapon and just struggle through it again. And that's just the fun of having games that have multiple difficulty levels to choose from. And I think that's honestly, it seems to be somewhat of a dying attribute in games, is the difficulty setting. So it's nice to see something keep it alive, because it does keep it really fresh. When you can just go as casually as you want, you can give yourself those self-restricted runs. And I guess some people do have some criticisms with Three Houses that are legitimate. Like the first half of the game, first third of the game is more or less the same regardless of which house you pick, and is, you know, very fair. But at least it gives you time to kind of set yourself up how you want to approach the game. So set up your teams, try to figure out what students you want to recruit and whatnot. Figure out what your builds are going to be a little bit more or less. And honestly, I guess you just not every game can be like Baldur's Gate 3 and just give you ultimate control over everything and have a million different choices. You know, you're going to have some rails. I would say it's probably better that it does have those rails. You know, I'd rather have like a very solid opener that can get you going and then like branch out from there. Because honestly, even when I do replay Three Houses, I'm never like, oh man, I gotta do this again. I might be like, oh man, I gotta do this battle again. More like dreading it. But I'm never like, this seems like a chore. But I would say like I can't pick up Three Houses unless like I'm very much intending to play it. I would say that's probably another one of its cons. It's almost like too intimidating. I'm not gonna say like I get like anxiety thinking about playing it. But I just know that when I pick it up, I'm going to have to play a certain amount of it. Because one, the battles are just going to last that long, and depending on what difficulty and how far you're into the game, the battle might take 45 plus minutes. Especially if it's one of those story ones and you want to try to set everything up again, depending if you're on maddening or classic, casual, whatever. That's just the one thing that stops me from wanting to pick up Fire Emblem Three Houses, is just knowing I'm going to have to commit probably at least 2 hours that one single playthrough, and then I just know that like for the next 2 weeks I'm gonna play nothing but that game, like all my waking moments. And then you start hearing the themes, the music in your head. But honestly, I can't imagine there being a better kind of soundtrack to have stuck in my head than the Three Houses, like just hanging out in the monastery. Oh, what a peaceful time. Or even like the little sub spots within the monastery. Like I love going in the actual like chapel and hearing that like beautiful opera sound. I actually really sad. If somebody in chat can help me find this one, the actual name of the song when you like walk into the church, and I feel like there is like a special like opera version of the monastery, like the Days of the Monastery little theme. And it's hard to find this exact little tune that I'm talking about, because when you look up like Fire Emblem 3 soundtrack, it's like probably like 5+ hours long, and I could try to just listen to it one day, and that's probably what I just need to do, is just sit down and just close my eyes and be like, just shut out the whole outside world and just try to find that one little tune that I'm looking for. But if anybody out there can save me the trouble, I would appreciate that, and I would give you a thumbs up. And all the characters. And I don't know if this is, I guess I love I'm gonna be careful about spoiling, I guess, anything, even though I would imagine if you're watching this, you've probably played the game to completion. But the fact that there's even sort of like a hidden route that you can take is so much fun that they give you that control to go and just fight for whoever you want, you know, depending on the circumstances. It's just those little things that make this game just so special over everything else, and it's just so easy to just keep pouring hours into it because you can just keep replaying it, changing up. There's just something about tactic games that are so, for me, fulfilling. It makes me feel like some sort of armchair strategist, even though I'm just beating some children's game. But honestly, it is really fulfilling when you can like just pull off some like really nice battle. I don't get like as in-depth as I'm sure you can with the game in terms of like different stats and different like items and whatnot, so sometimes I probably like handicap myself. That's just me in games in general. I just feel like I never use all of the items that are given to me. That's a prison of my own design, and something hopefully I can get over. I don't know why I don't sit through the cutscenes, because I think I'm just so fulfilled with the rest of the game that why do I want to delay myself playing even more? Why do I want to sit there and watch the students go to the dance, or what? I don't even know. I have no idea what happens in Three Houses Fire Emblem at all. Yet it's that much my favorite game by far. Like, no question about it. Sorry, it's up there. You gotta leave room for like Team Fortress and Resident Evil Remake. I'll talk about some other games, but it's just so well polished. All the characters, even from far away on the battle screen, you can clearly see which character is which, and I think that's just something that doesn't happen by accident. It's just something that should be appreciated, how much love every level of the game received. Maybe I should give Engage a chance, but honestly, with Nintendo games being so expensive, I feel like I have just completely stopped playing Nintendo games for the time being, unless I just know they're going to be like an absolute banger. Because I just don't want to pay that Nintendo tax for something that's going to be a good time, but when you can get like Resident Evil 4 for $20 on sale or whatever, remake on sale at the right times, or so many other great games, I just gotta be selective. So I mean, maybe if Fire Emblem Engage was like $30, if someone could really reassure me that it's just as good, and again, not less than, but just as good as Fire Emblem Three Houses, then I'm not gonna touch it, because again, Three Houses is just so good. I don't need anything else at this point. Again, it's just, as if I keep coming back to something and I'm satisfied, why go look for more? You know, that's just gluttony. This is something that gamers, I think, need to hear out there. So I'm glad that we had this discussion, because this is media philosophy, exploring the deeper side of entertainment. And that's what we do here. Some people, you know, they have enough, but then they go seek out more, and it's just gonna end up hurting you in the end. And everybody has those games for them. I haven't played Elden Ring because I just don't feel like I'm going to be good enough. And that's a nice thing about a Fire Emblem, because it's turn-based. I guess turn-based isn't for everybody, but it's just so nice to be able to just take as much time as I need to play this game at my own pace. If anything happens around me, I can respond to that. I can be still very aware of my surroundings and still be completely engaged in the game. Whereas when I play a game like Phantom Pain, Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain, if I'm playing like the FOB missions on that, everything stops around me. Like I get tunnel vision, I stop blinking. If I play too long, like my eyes hurt, because I'm just like so focused on this game. But with Three Houses, it just goes at a slower pace that I don't get that sucked into it. I think that's, again, just another thing that should be really respected with this game, or at least something that I really respect with this game. Just because getting older, it's harder to find time to just like dedicate to like completely engross myself in a game. So it's just nice that there are these really still fun, challenging games out there for adults who are busy. But yeah, there's just too many games out there that I can't probably get into because it's just too intense. I just know I shouldn't put that much time into learning how to play a game like Elden Ring. if I played on PC and had some like God mode and can just like walk around and like appreciate everything, that's one thing. But I just know myself. I can't get sucked into something like that. I need to take it slow. I'm an old man. I'm just gonna play my games that I've played for the last 20 years. With Fire Emblem, it can just make you feel so much when you just want to make the perfect battle and you just can't, and you lose somebody and it just hurts so bad. Again, you can go back in time, but you can only do that so many times. Fire Emblem Three Houses is the perfect casual game because it even has that go back in time function, which some people will say trivializes the experience. But again, you don't have to use it if you don't want to. Me, I'm maxing out that the moment I can. It's just so invaluable to me, and it's like a stress reliever. Even if I'm playing on Classic, I just want to try to keep everybody alive as long as I can. Or at least I just don't want to lose. I hate losing in Fire Emblem because it's one thing to have a battle go on for like 1 hour. It's another thing for a battle to go on for 1 hour and then you get yourself into an unwinnable situation. But yeah, it's just such another great way to turn what could be a really hardcore, difficult game into something more casual if you want it to be. And that's what I think is the beauty of Fire Emblem in its essence, is it's marrying this hardcore, casual, consequence-ridden battle with these more casual mechanics, this more casual atmosphere, laid-back Professor Sim kind of activities that you can perform. And I think they do this in just such a perfect way. They marry them in such a perfect way that it creates an experience like no other that just hits, like I said, all those right buttons. So until I guess dating sims start, creating some sort of actual tactics sort of game behind it, I guess I'm going to be set. Bottom line of this video, if you're still watching it and you're just trying to understand what I feel, where I am on the fence about Fire Emblem Three Houses, well, I'll tell you, I'm pro. I'm so pro that I'm going to go buy it again. I'm going to go buy 3 copies. I know they're $60 still, even though the game came out probably 7 years now, if not more. But that's how much I believe in this game and how much I want to thank Nintendo for giving me an experience like Fire Emblem Three Houses. So thank you, Nintendo. Thank you so much. And this is Media Philosophy, exploring the deeper side of entertainment.